The first effect I'd like to tackle is the smoke that's released from this fire particle. The default fire particle system could double as a fireball one day, so I'd like to get more familiar with it anyway. You can edit any particle system within the engine. Something I like to do is just duplicate the particle system, so you can make any edit you want without messing up the original particle system. At the top of the editor, you can see all 6 emitters in this particle system. Unchecking the box will hide the particle from displaying. Then we can change the fire particle in the blueprint so it grabs the new one we just duplicated. I think this would also be an easy way to make spells or projectiles down the road. In this game, the blueprint is touch and die, so if I wanted to, I could duplicate my touch and die blueprint, simply update the particle system, and create many effects easily. Let's start this experiment by ticking the spawn box on the smoke particle and see what effect that has in the gameplay. Size by life is what makes it grow, so let's reduce its size by life by about half. Hopefully this gives me a little smoke. Now we can edit the spawn emitter. Expand the rate dropdown and the distribution. Let's play with it. Start at 1 and see what effect that has. Looks like less smoke, but still a little too much for what I want. How about 0.5? You'll also notice that I'm on Fire Particle 2. Something heinously unknown happened to Fire Particle 1. May it rest in peace. Yeah, I like that. It kind of looks like something is burning. That's much better. Now it's not smoking me out of the whole level, and for now that's fine. Time for some sound effects. In the Fire blueprint, grab an Event Begin Play node and drag off the executable into a Play Sound at Location node. This will keep the fire sound from being heard across the whole level. Get the particle system from the Component tab and get its world location and plug that into the location pin. Then from the drop-down, just grab the Fire 01 cue, which is system default and sounds just like fire. Now when you play the game and get close to the fire, it sounds like fire. Also, it's in stereo, so on the right side or left side, that's the speaker you'll hear it from. How about player death? We'll do something similar, so find our 2D player character and the death blueprint. I want this sound to happen right when the explosion happens, so off the sprite's visibility node, drag off a play sound at location. You might need more room, so feel free to make the adjustment to your blueprint now. And for this one, we can just use the existing Get World Location. Just drag off an additional pin. I'm using reroute nodes to keep track of this blueprint as it starts to expand. Make sure you choose the explosion sound from the dropdown, and pow, we're dead. The reason I don't add these sounds early is because game sounds like sound effects, background music, and UI cues could be considered the most important element of your game. Graphics and story are important, but your audience will not tolerate poor sound quality. I end up spending a good number of hours finding sounds. There are free resources out there, even paid resources on the marketplace. All of the sounds I have are built in or free, and as we play through this, it'll start to feel much more like a game. Here are my downloaded sounds. All you need to do is drag them into the game's audio folder, or whichever sounds folder you might have created. By default, the .wav files can't be added into blueprints until you create a queue for them, so I'll do that now. To create a queue, right-click the WAV file and select Create Queue option. The engine will then create the queue in the same folder as the WAV. I have two options here and I don't know which jump to use. I don't love either of these, so I'll go with the softer sounding jump for now. All that's left for sounds is to add the play sound nodes to the blueprints. Technically, you can add the play sound node and then fill in the asset dropdown once you load the sounds. Having a checklist for sound effects you need would be ideal for an independent developer. Since this game is so small, we can just work through them. Let's start with the coin pickup. Find the Destroy Actor node and let's add the node for Play Sound at Location. Connect the executable pins to Play Sound node first, then from the Play Sound node to the Destroy Actor node. In the dropdown of the Play Sound node, we can now locate our coin pickup by searching for it. This search feature will be necessary as your sound effects library grows. Drag the cylinder component out from the components pane, and from the cylinder into a Get World Location node, and then into the location of the Play Sound at Location node. Now let's head into the Touch and Win blueprint and do something similar. Again, locate the Destroy Actor blueprint, which happens early in this blueprint, and that's where we'll add the sound effect. Free up some room between the Overlap Event node and the Destroy Actor node. Very similar blueprint here. We'll play sound at location based on the cylinder's location in the world. We could use a play sound node instead as well. There's quite a delay in the sound effects when I pick up coins. This could be due to half or a whole second of no sound in the WAV file I downloaded, or the position of the Play Sound node in the blueprint. So let's just move it to the beginning of the collision. Disconnect the executables from the Play Sound at Location and reconnect them to the Destroy Actor node. Then all we have to do is select all three nodes connected to the Play Sound and move it all at once. How about moving it to the very beginning so it fires earlier in the collision? Let's try connecting the overlap directly to the Play Sound and then from the Play Sound to the Cast to 2D character. Well, shoot. So make sure you connect up the player to the collision or else it will fire with every collision. And let's just slide the Play Sound node a little further down within this blueprint. This will give the blueprint the correct collision trigger and then play the sound after only the player overlaps with the coin rather than any actor. Disconnect the overlap node from the Play Sound node and reconnect its executable to the Cast to 2D character. Then I can drag the Play Sound node further down in the blueprint. I'll insert it between the score count and the branch. That should do nicely. For background music, all that's needed for a game like this is to drag the sound up into this level. The starter music cue is default, so we'll just drag it up to the level and hear all these sound effects together. Sounds good so far. Let's add a jump effect. In the 2D player character, there's this built-in handle jump blueprint. All that's needed is to drag off the jump node, add a play sound 2D node, and from the drop-down, select the preferred jump cue. Now every time we jump, the sound effect happens, and it's not super annoying, so that works for now. On the start level, I wasn't able to add the music until I added volumetric fog for some reason, but I might have been doing that wrong. Once I added the fog, the music worked, which is why it looks like that. And the last little effect I need is for my buttons. This is something that I should have done when I built all the blueprints. Now I have to go back into every one of them and add the play sound node. Doing it this way has a very high chance of resulting in a UI bug if I should forget one of them by accident. This game is very small and there are 6 separate buttons. If the game was any bigger, this would be a major pain. Plus, if I added the sound effects when I created the blueprints, I can troubleshoot that sound earlier in the process. Drag out an onHovered node and pull the executable into a play sound 2D node, and choose the onHover sound cue from the dropdown. You can then drag out an onHover node from the second button on this widget's blueprint and drag its executable into the same play sound node. Do this for the other 2 widget blueprints and you're good to go. Let's also remove those extra displays. Now it's not as easy to just delete the display because your other blueprint is looking for it, and that could result in a compile error. So make sure you delete the bindings and any functions related to the variable as well, if you made some UI helpers for yourself. Now we can test everything together. Looks like the game is working as I would expect. Make sure you set the background music you want for every level. You can make different music for each or leave it the same. Now we can set up a little deployment. I'm on a Windows computer, so we go to File, then Package Project for Windows and 64-bit. That will auto-compile the project into a folder I choose. And after a few minutes, it's complete. I sped it up for the video. After it completes, you can view the output or just open the folder you set and have a finished deployable game. There are a couple things I noticed, so I'll tackle those in a quick third pass.